Do you love your wife, Mr. Slater?
I do.
Do you want her to live?
More than anything.
Do you realize that what you're asking this court to agree to, letting Kendall continue to carry her child in spite of her medical condition, could bring about her death?
I do.
Well, then why on earth would you make such a request?
This is not about what I want. This is Kendall's choice. It's what matters. And if she had a voice, she would be here today to tell you that the baby should stay exactly where it is. But she can't, so I'm gonna speak for her. Because I promised.
Kendall. I'm back. Babe? Is that Babe? I was all set to leave it, but I couldn't stop thinking about what I would want if it were me in this bed. And I would want the doctors to do whatever it took to save my son, even if that meant I had to die. But do you feel the same way? Just give me a sign, something, anything, so I'd know this is what you want.
A sign? My life is in Babe Carey's hands and she wants a freaking sign? You know what sign I'd like to give you, Babe? I'd like to wrap my hands around that scrawny neck and squeeze until you squawk like a chicken.
Kendall? Kendall, you did it. You moved your finger.
Silly Posturepedic is here.
An impromptu wedding on a yacht. Very romantic. You and Kendall must be crazy about each other.
That sums it up.
Were you this much in love the first time you were married?
No, the first time we were married, it was a business relationship. Kendall agreed to marry me so I could sign over the casino licenses into her name.
And why was that necessary?
I had a bit of a problem with the gambling commission.
So you married Kendall the first time in order to save your business?
Yeah.
And did she? Did she save your casinos?
She did.
Mr. Lavery, you applied for emergency custody of your unborn child, did you not?
Yes, I did.
And you were granted it immediately, despite the fact that the child was still in his mother's womb. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true. At the time, I had every reason to believe that Kendall was going to put our son up for adoption against my wishes.
Your Honor, evidence that my client's concerns are valid. Adoption papers signed by Kendall giving Dr. Greg Madden permission to shop their unborn child to prospective parents. Mr. Lavery, was Kendall aware of how important it was for you to raise your son?
Yep, I told her many times, yes.
And why did she refuse you that right?
Dr. Madden played on Kendall's reservations, convinced her that I was unfit to raise my son alone, and it got to the point where she wouldn't even listen to me, so the only way I could stop her was legally stop her from giving my son to strangers.
But Mr. Slater testified that Kendall had a change of heart just before her accident.
Mm-hmm. I never had a chance to talk to Kendall about that. Every conversation that I had with her, she made it very clear that she had no interest in raising our son.
Did Kendall honor the court order?
She never saw it. When I went to her to show it, she was already gone. Apparently, Dr. Madden had taken her to a private facility that he had on an island where she could rest and give birth and put our son up for adoption without any interference.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness's theory is speculative and assumes facts not in evidence.
Sustained.
Mr. Lavery, do you love Kendall?
Yes, I do. I love her as one of my closest friends and as my son's mother.
Do you want Kendall to live?
More than anything.
Do you want her to live more than you want your son to live?
I don't know how to answer that.
I understand that this is very difficult for you, Mr. Lavery, but try.
Excuse me. I want my son very much, but not at the expense of Kendall's life.
You say Kendall is one of your best friends, yet it doesn't sound as if you agreed on much regarding this pregnancy. Is that fair to say?
Actually, I said that Kendall was one of my closest friends. I don't think you have to be best friends to be close, but either way, we had our differences.
If you and Kendall haven't been able to see eye to eye on what's best for your child throughout her entire pregnancy, what makes you think you can speak for her now?
I love Kendall, and I don't want her to die.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I've just received some compelling new evidence, and with the court's permission, I would like to submit it into these proceedings. I would also like to request permission to redirect Mr. Lavery.
Your Honor, this is highly unusual.
We'll look at the evidence.
Your Honor, this is completely irrelevant. This is nothing more than a weak attempt by the plaintiff to smear my client's character.
I disagree. I'm going to allow the new evidence to be admitted. You may redirect your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Lavery, do you know what this is?
No, I have no idea.
It's a report prepared by a team of private investigators hired by Erica Kane. Would you please read what that says?
It says that Zach Slater has a lot to gain if Kendall dies.
City TV tonight.
You own 8 casinos, including the Seasons East. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And your casinos, are they lucrative?
They can be.
Well, according to this report, they've been bleeding money for 6 months, and you have dipped heavily into a substantial line of credit.
Well, that's the gambling business for you. Sometimes people get lucky and they win.
If they keep getting lucky, you might end up bankrupt.
It's not going to come to that. In the end, the odds are always with the house. We'll be just fine.
Would you mind telling the court what this is, sir?
This is part of the paperwork that Kendall and I signed when we decided to share the casinos.
Please be more specific.
It's a business partner's life insurance policy.
So, if one of you were to die, the business is insured against that loss.
Yes, it is.
And how much is the policy for?
$10 million.
So if Kendall were to die tomorrow, your financial difficulties would be a thing of the past.
I'm not sure what to say to that, Olivia.
Well, you better say something, because you're asking this court to take a big risk with a life that you claim to value so
Kendall
much.
told me that she wants this baby's life more than her own. This is what she wants.
No further questions.
He's right. Kendall wants to save her baby. She told me so. Get anyone, Erica. I'm just doing what I think is right.
Oh, I have heard those words from you so many times. The problem is, what you think is right serves one person and one person only. You.
Somebody has to fight for her, Zach.
Someone is.